It's on our website. AZBurners.org. Thank you. We have a couple of legal entities. We incorporated as a nonprofit 501c3 a few years back, which helps us not have to worry about a bunch of money being taxed by people in an LLC. It helps us make sure that we're ongoing, and it does some. It has some protections for folks, and we have about profit. But if we're going to sustain, if we're going to be here next year and the year after and the year after, we need a place to house the funds. We need a place to have the policies and things like that. So we incorporated as a 501c3 back. The name of that company is Arizona Artistic Conflagrators Inc., which is not the same as conflagrators, which is the real word, but it got misspelled in all the filings, so we decided just to keep it. And this is the board, and I'm going to talk a little bit today. Can you guys see me in the camera, or am I getting out of your range? There, I think here. Am I in your way?
You're fine, but the as long as you're facing the mic, the audio is better. When you turn away, it gets a little dodgy.
Okay.
So
okay. And the mic
anything you
for
can do
everybody
to
else
make
who's
sure
going to
you're
speak here today, the mic is in. So
yeah.
Hey, Lisa. Ruby, do you think it would help if she turned her video off? It sounds like she's breaking up a bit.
That too would help actually. I think listening to you would be more important than the video aspect of it for now.
Tell me how it goes in a few minutes. I'll stand still and you tell me how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe the folks who are on can turn off their videos too, so that can work as well.
Yep.
This is the list of folks that are on our board. Are we good?
Yep.
Ruby?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. The board currently is 9 members. There are 3-year terms. When someone goes onto the board, what they're signing up for is a 3-year term. There are not term limits. I'm going to talk about this in just a minute because we're recruiting for board members. But there is a 3-year commitment on the part of the person that joins. And so this is when terms are ending, the end of the year in these years. Let's see. Huck, who you saw on video, is our chairman. The board itself elects the officers, and so Huck is the chairman. Rat Lady, who's in the room here, who's also one of our Saguaro Man Ranger leads, is also on the board. And I'm assuming that you guys have signed up for a 2nd term, so that's why we got 2029 on there. Misha, who is on the Zoom, her term concludes in 2028. I'm going to talk in a moment about how people come onto the board. Misha is one of the board of directors, and she also is on the Saguaro Man Facilitator Council. And she joined the board as being appointed by that council. Cords, Stephanie Munoz, she's not able to be with us today. She's our secretary, does an amazing job at that. Renee, who you saw on Zoom, and she'll be talking in a few minutes about IGNiGHT and our combo IGNiGHT decompression that we're looking at for October. She just joined us here and is with the end of last year with us through 2028. Mr. Mom, yes. Yay, is also our freshest board member and I'm our outgoing treasurer, and Mr. Mom is our incoming treasurer. And we're super excited to have him on the board. Armella Queen Bonnie, she is in her 2nd term, which concludes in 2027. Not sure if she's on the Zoom. We'll see here in just a moment when I can look at that. Coda, I don't think is able to join us today. Scott Dudley, he's also a member of the board. His term ends the end of this year, and right now it looks like we'll be replacing him on the board rather than be sticking around for another term. Unfortunately, he's just an incredibly wise person that we were able to get on the board. And I'm Sassy Cat, and my term includes this. So this is the board. What do we do? There's like administration stuff. We're a nonprofit corporation. Got to make sure that we're always staying able to remain a nonprofit corporation. We try to do everything in accordance with the 11 principles. Sometimes, legal stuff gets in our way of being as loose as burners would love to be, right? There's still our rules that we have to follow. And we support the events. So the board doesn't run the events, but the board supports the events. We're here for providing the policies. We're here for providing the support. We're here for, doing things like making sure we've got the money in place to do the things that we need to do. And there's different roles on the board that are here to support some specific roles in the events. So becoming a board, there's a couple of different paths that people can become a board member. One is, I think I mentioned, so the bylaws say we can have as few, we can have as many as 15. Hard to imagine a 15-member board. 9 to 11 seems to be the sweet spot, but if I look at Burning Man project, they've got pretty so we don't have aspirations right now to get to 15, but Saguaro Man ever turns into a 5,000 person event, we need to grow more, right? If we do all kinds of things all over the state, we need to grow more. So 3-year term, no term limits. Each year, so according to the bylaws, each year up to 1/3 of the board can be turned over. Right? So now new folks coming in and that kind of thing. The new board members come from a few different avenues. One is one that we just recently put in a couple of years ago, and this avenue is through our event council. So Saguaro Man has a whole bunch of different departments. There's volunteers, there's gate, there's greeters, there's BPW, there's medical, there's rangers. I mean, and the list goes on. It takes a whole village to create this big event that we have. We've rolled that up into 6, I guess you would call it, program areas for Saguaro. So there's still teams and team leads, but then each of those, and Ruby nicknamed it the pizza pie, because when you look at it, it's a circle and it looks kind of like a pizza pie. But each section of the pie, which consists of multiple departments, has someone who's the steward or the facilitator. They're not the boss of that part of the pizza pie. They're there to really help support that pizza pie, stuff like that. So they're called the council. They also get the real super special privilege of being the and taking turns on, who's the lead for this 12 hours of Saguaro, for example. Share that responsibility. So that council decided, Misha, I guess it was over a year ago, that of those 6 that Misha would be, so they appoint somebody from that council to sit on a board for a term. And it's appoint, elect, go by default, 5 of the 6 don't want to do it, 1 does, however, it comes through that council. The same thing with IGNiGHT. And if we were continuing with decompression, which right now decompression is on hiatus, it would be the same thing for that too. So we have Misha is on the board as a result of being appointed through the Saguaro Man Council, and Renee is on the board as being appointed through the IGNiGHT Council. So that's that avenue. The other avenue is RCs. And before, it was just kind of, when I became an RC, I had my agreement with Burning Man Project, and then I was told by the local folks that I was expected to be on this board. So, okay, I didn't know that, but here I am on this board. But it's a really good thing to have that connection to Burning Man also on the board. And so what was concluded this year, now that we're bringing on several new RCs, is that RC team is going to be able to do the same thing that the event council does. Among you decide who's the RC that you want to have on the board. Doesn't mean there can be only one RC on the board. There's a couple of board members that are both RC too. But we do want to make sure that there's always an RC on the board. Any RCs are welcome to sit in on any board. So want to make sure that communication is always there. And then the other path is community and self-nominations. and then going through a process of interviews and seeing if the fit is right. Ultimately, the board, for any of the positions, the board is responsible for. It's a team. You got to make sure you got the right folks that are working together. So that's kind of how all of that works. Why join the board? Oh God, I don't know. I'm getting off the end here. I'm only kidding. It's actually being on this board and being in our C2 has been like life-changing for me and incredible to have had the opportunity to serve this community and meet everybody and participate in all kinds of ways that I never would have thought of otherwise. So being on the board, you get to kind of shape how things go. You get to meet a ton of people. You're in decision-making process. So, you know, one of the things we say is if you've got a lot of things to bitch and moan about how this region is operating, raise your hand. There's a way to make changes, and that's to get involved. So shape the future, sharpen your skills. I mean, it's a nonprofit corporation. If you ever want to learn about how to run a nonprofit corporation, it's a great way to do it. Right? So leadership, communication, all kinds of stuff. And yes, we're recruiting board members. We're looking for folks who are passionate about this community. We're looking for folks who are committed. So it's not a light time commitment. You can plan on spending at least a couple hours. I know the treasurer spends a whole lot more than that, but plan to spend at least a couple hours. I'm hoping the next treasurer gets to. Hopefully, I'm leaving with systems in place that you can then get a committee together, so you don't have to do all the stuff that I have to do. You've got to be collaborative and ready to work with a team and be part of a team. Did somebody on the Zoom want to say something? Okay, cool. How to get involved, AZBurners.org. There is actually a form on AZBurners.org website for how to get involved that you can just hear on the things that I'm interested in and the appropriate get back to. Okay, any questions on that stuff? Because I'm going to move into fiscal year stuff. Awesome. All right. I need to sit down because we look at numbers for each year and things have changed and they're in the process of changing. So I just want to give you guys the whole lay of the land. Normally, you know, you do your taxes. And it's about the income that you got from January through December of the prior year, right? And most corporations look that way too. But when you're a corporation, you get to decide what's your year. Our year is always a calendar year. Can I ask the Zoomies to turn off your mics unless you need to say something to me? Thank you. And what we found is this. We have this our major event, and the main thing that allows us to operate throughout the year and do things that we want to do and you know, make contributions to other nonprofits as well as support volunteers and things like that. That's Saguaro Man. That's where the vast majority of our money comes from. And we have a budget and we want to see how are we doing according to the budget. So you need to look at the expenses and the income and all the things associated with that. Well, Saguaro Man happens in April. And for Saguaro Man 2024, 2025, I think was the first year. Maybe it was 24. We start selling tickets in November or December. When we start selling tickets in November and December, and our cutoff for the year is December, all of that stuff gets separated from all the stuff relative to the event. So if we want to do things like budgeting for the year and seeing how it's going, it gets really messy. So in conjunction with our accounting firm, why not just change our fiscal year? So our fiscal year is going to change. So the year for AZBurners is going to be July 1st through June 30th. Okay, that's how it's going to. But that starts this year. So I'm going to share financials with you for the last few years, right? The reason I'm doing it is because we closed out 2025. Our 2026 is going to be a 6-month year. It's going to be January through June. And then 2027 is going to be July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Okay. So the financials that we look at are going to be just a little bit wonky for a year or so, but then we're going to get into a good group because all of our major events will happen within the time frame of our fiscal year, which will make things so much easier. So I'm going to share with you a couple of eye charts, and I'm not going to go through these in every single, deep bit of detail, but I wanted to show you just a few things of how we're doing financially because it's important. So this chart and the deck, copy of the deck, as well as the recording of this will be on our website, so you can examine all these things in detail if you want. You can see how we've grown from 2023, 24, 25. 2024 was a massive year because that's the year that we started selling tickets for 2025 Saguaro Man in 2024. So all of a sudden we had this ginormous income, which, by the way, pushed us over the ledge into the much more complicated version of tax filing that we do, which thank goodness we have a good accounting firm. And then 2025. So here's where we're at. 2024, we started 2025 ticket sales in November. 2025, we started Saguaro Man ticket sales in December, and I'm going to show you a breakdown of how all that worked out. You can see our expenses, you can see our net income for the year, or net revenues, however you want to call it. That's the amount of money that gets left over that we get to. Our goal right now is to have 2 years worth of costs in bank accounts and money markets. We came close to bankruptcy right before COVID, and we never want to go back there. So we want to make sure that this is safe. And I will tell you that we can proudly say that this year for Saguaro Man, we don't need to use the money that we're taking in for tickets for the expenses of this year's Saguaro Man. We're able to keep that money aside as it should be until the event happens, right? God forbid if we have to cancel, we want to be able to refund. That's not in the card, but we want to, and so we're able to use the money that we've had in the bank to be able to fund the expenses that we have for this year's Saguaro Man, and that was a huge and exciting milestone. So you can see cash in bank right as of December 31st was just over 150,000, and we also had 120,000 sitting at Humanitix, which is our ticketing provider, who holds the money until a few days after the event is over. So we're in much better shape than we've ever been before, thanks to our whole company. This slide is just a breakdown of certain things. How many people we've had at Saguaro Man, Decompression, and IGNiGHT over the last few years. Saguaro Man is holding steady at 1,200 for two main reasons. One, the venue. On our own land, we couldn't handle much more than 1,200, and on the new place that the city of Willcox is providing, we can't hold much more than 1,200. And also number of volunteers. You can't have an event without rangers, medical, gate greeters, right? We've got to be able to have the number of people that we need, right? Fire perimeter, all those things, we've got to be able to have them. So we need enough volunteers to do that. So you can see that we've held steady. Our ticket sales last year were high because you remember if you attended Saguaro Man, you had to buy a vehicle pass. Okay. We're not doing vehicle passes anymore. That was done for a very specific reason, but it really helped us. So, and this year we're back down to just ticket prices. You can see, and here's where I wanted to show you. Last year, over $100,000 of the total Saguaro Man ticket sales, so well over half of Saguaro Man ticket sales, were collected in December. About 70% of our estimated Saguaro Man ticket sales for this year were collected in December. So that's again why we're shifting the fiscal year so that we can keep everything on the same.
Lisa?
Yes.
Can you mention a little bit about why we need a nest egg and things like insurance and wherever possible not needing to file a claim because we'll never get insurance again?
Yeah, I neglected to talk about that. That was the other thing that Ruby just brought up. Ruby, you want to talk because they're probably tired of my voice.
Can y'all hear me clearly then?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
So, couple of reasons to have a nest egg. One was we almost went bankrupt during COVID because we had purchased the land with ticket money we'd sold for tickets for the 2020 event. And then, of course, we had to cancel for 2 years in a row. But we still had expenses, the website, the taxes at the time, and all that stuff. We survived thanks to donations from the community that helped keep the lights on and not force us into bankruptcy. We don't want to ever get to that position again. The other thing is that insurance with our events is an absolute nightmare. Most insurance agencies don't want to touch us. Burner events typically get insured by Lloyd's of London, who will insure anybody at a price, and that's why insurance is one of the biggest expenses. However, if you ever claim on that insurance, you are screwed. You're never going to get insurance through those people again. So we want to try, in case there is any problem at the event, to pay out of pocket and not claim on insurance. What a scam that insurance thing is, but that's what it is. So I just wanted to mention that. And Lisa, anything else?
No, I think that's spot on. We've been advised, and all the regions have been advised, keep enough money in the bank. That happens.
Lisa, your audio
Using insurance only in case of a.
Your audio is dropping and
Pardon?
becoming very choppy. So just turn the video off
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Thank you.
There. Okay. Better?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
All right, good. Yeah, so we've been advised, just because you can make a claim doesn't mean you should make a claim. Because any burn that makes a claim makes it nearly impossible for every other burn to get insured. So we've got to be very, very careful about that. So yeah, so we want to make sure we've got enough money in the bank that we would be able to fund, if God forbid something happens, to be able to pay for what we could. So yeah, so the other thing I wanted to share with you was you can see why we made a decision that how many of you used to attend I got a ticket for Decompression 2025? A few of them. This event takes, I would say, at least 70% of the effort as Saguaro. We still have all the, so it has continued to reduce in popularity. Let's see, we went from nearly 200 people to 150 to less than 100 bought tickets for Decompression 2025. We had to make a decision to cancel at that time. I think it was largely due to the weather, but we as a board said, this isn't something, again, given the number of volunteers that we have, the amount of effort, all the things, we can't keep saying this is our major event. We have a community that is much, much larger than an 80-person event. We want to encourage anybody who wants to do a burner camp out to organize it. And we'll be happy to, make it unofficial, and we'll be happy to help in any way that we can, but we're not going to focus on a whole community event that's only going to attract things. It just, the math just couldn't work for us. It's the same volunteers at the top. We couldn't find enough volunteers to even form a council for decompression. So it had its time, but as you'll see when Renee talks, we've got some ideas about how to do decompression differently that might be kind of exciting. And you can also see IGNiGHT, and this I think includes, I don't remember if it includes what this was IGNiGHT Tempe. The IGNiGHT event, which is outreach. It's our community getting together to put out art out, do mutant vehicles, have music, work with a gallery space or something and invite the whole default community to come and learn a little bit more about Burning Man and Burning Man culture. And 2025 IGNiGHT, we had nearly 800 people come to Tempe. So we said, okay, would we rather put our effort to outreach education and getting 800 people into events like this? Or so we said it was kind of obvious where we wanted to put more of the attention. So, okay, so that's the number. Someone's car, hopefully that's not mine. The other thing I wanted to share with you were just some of the major expenses. I'm not going to go through the whole chart, but you're probably interested in the money that we spend. Where's most of the money that we spend? So we do art grants. We are starting this year to do small grants for new vehicles. We every year decide on charities and other nonprofits that we're going to donate. So those are the big ones. This year, by the way, so you can see art grants, 15,000 in 2023, 14,000 in 2024, 22,000 in 2025. I think about 2,500, a couple thousand of that was IGNiGHT. And this year, Cheetah, I think this is it's 35,000 for Saguaro Man and 2,500 for something along those lines. So, you know, we want to get to a point. I mean, I look at some of these other regionals that are, I'd love to tell the org, we put $500,000 to art. No, that's who we are, what we are. So we're slowly getting there. And it was originally, the original budget was 25,000 for Saguaro Man, wasn't it? 25,000 for Saguaro Man art grants this year. And as a board, we decided we can grow our nest egg a little bit slower and put 10,000 more into art grants because we've had incredible applications for art. So we're really, really happy that we were able to do that. Programs, supplies, food, and swag are the biggest consumer of funds. Equipment rental is big. So equipment rental is anything from, I don't know, the lifts to last year to things like, you know, we've got to do some road work and things like that. So contractors, last year we had a big budget for contractors because we needed to do road wiring. All kinds of stuff in order to make it workable. Insurance is the next ginormous one. As Ruby said, insurance for Saguaro Man and our insurance for events that are not camping and have nothing to do with any kind of fire are super affordable. The moment we have overnight camping, and the big thing is the moment we have anything with flame, we're in the mega thousands for insurance. Is what it is. We want to have art, we want to have fire, we're going to pay the insurance to do it, right? Merchant fees. This one I'm really happy to say. So this is Stripe. So before we got in this position where we're able to pay for our expenses out of existing funds rather than tap into ticket sales, we had it set up with our ticketing provider that they would send us the money every few days. Well, the moment you get a ticketing provider sending you money every few days, instead of at the end of the event, you have to get Stripe involved or the ticketing provider's own fees. And so there's a percentage plus a dollar amount for every single transaction. And this is how much we've paid over the last few years for that, $8,400 last year. This year, we're driving that close to zero. And the reason we're able to drive that close to zero is because of what we've done so far with being able to build the money and not have to tap it. So it's awesome. Accounting and legal, we've been immersed in creating the systems. We have an accounting firm now that we're very, very confident in. Robert's been getting to know them too. I mean, they just do the things. They're the ones who prepare our Form 990, the annual tax return. Our annual tax return is done. It's going to get on our website in the next week as soon as I get it to Ruby. So we had some other legal stuff, you know, the thing with the not lawyerly stuff, but things that are legally associated with the nonprofits. So I expect this is going to be a little bit less in 2026, but not a whole lot. Probably about, you know, figure $500 a month or something like that, $600 a month, thereabouts. We did something new this year too. BAM is, and this is on the list of major expenses, and I'll hop back to BAM. BAM is an event called Burn After Meeting. It is an event that's put on by regional event production volunteers, for lack of a better word. It replaces what used to be, what was it called, the Burning Man? Yeah. Global Leadership Conference has been replaced by Burn After Meeting in the US and European Leadership Conference in Europe. And they're now all put on by volunteers coming out of events because they really want to get together and learn from each other. And the org now is starting to get involved in attending, but I don't think we'll ever see the org focusing on things, which is fine for democracy, right? So Burn After Meeting has a registration fee, and there's also cost to get there, right? It's not held here. Last year in 2025, it was held in Reno. 2026, it's going to be held in Pittsburgh. What we decided to do as a board was provide some assistance for up to 12 volunteers to go to BAM, learn, bring back what they've learned so that we can start doing best practice, better practices, learn from other regions. And also the networking is just unbelievable. Stuff that the team learned from the folks in Portland about soap, for example, is priceless. So we think it was well worth the money, and we've got it in the budget to do it. Generally, it's, I think the first right of refusal is for event facilitators, board members, and leads of different teams. So that was that. Misha, are you on? You want to say a little bit about what you learned?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was a great experience. I think we had 8 that went this year, and we were able to tag team the sessions. So we had somebody in every session for the whole weekend. It typically runs over just a Saturday and Sunday, and you can pick and choose what you want to step into for every hour session. We got a lot of great information while we were there, a lot on our safety protocols that we're working on right now. We were able to make a lot of great connections with the regional community. I honestly have kind of been living in a bubble in this community as far as the regional network goes. So I was really excited to be able to connect and just hear how everybody does things at their burn, and how regulations are different, how insurance is different, how insurance is kind of difficult to get all the way around, but regardless, yeah, it was just a great experience.
Thank you. And Mr. Mom and Cheetah, do you want to add anything? And Danny, you were there too.
Yeah. It was very eye-opening. Really great to meet other people that are involved, regionals at the level that they were. And
Cheetah, you got to speak up.
great information sharing.
She said it was eye-opening and great information sharing.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I'll repeat after them so that you guys can hear what they said, because nobody's
Oh,
coming
sorry.
up here with them.
I thought she was online. My apologies.
Was that we are way behind in accessibility support.
And Rat Lady learned that we're way behind in accessibility support.
So if anybody interested in on the cutting edge of helping us bring us up to inclusion, definitely contact. I'd like to work on that.
And contact Rat Lady if you want to work on true inclusion in the form of accessibility. Awesome. Thank you. Mr. Mom, anything?
Just it was really awesome to steal great ideas from other people.
He said it was awesome to steal ideas from other people.
Yeah, I also just wanted to mention that once ticket sales open, assuming we reach the dollar amount that they need to put the event on, once ticket sales open, I believe anybody can attend. You'd have to buy your own ticket and make your own arrangements, but I don't think it's necessarily closed off to just the leads. Those are just the ones that we're supporting to send.
Great point. Great point. Yeah, the event is called Burn After Meeting. And even the people who are going who our organization is supporting, we don't provide 100% of the money that they need to go. Right, we provide up to $500 to assist them with their airfare and their meals and their hotel. And we also pick up the cost for the event registration. So they needed to take care of everything else. But we wanted to give a good enough assistance to make it easier for folks to go. So, all right, moving on. Any question about the numbers? Okay, our Form 990 is always on the website. Our bylaws are always on the website. And if anybody ever has any questions, just holler. I'm happy to share any information. We definitely have nothing to hide. I'd like to move now into our upcoming events. So Misha, you want to talk about? I'm gonna put you on screen, and if you want to talk about anything about Saguaro Man.
Oh, let me get my face ready.
I'm just going up there.
Boop. Hello.
Hi.
All right.
What do you want to share?
I was just going to share an update today. I don't have any slides or anything ready. And I'm going to be mostly reading this. I'll admit my brain's a little fried from midterms and stuff and all this burn work. So a lot of this is going to be scripted. So as we discussed at the last town hall, our event is being held on new land. It's on a dry playa just south of Cochise Lake in the Twin Lakes Park in Willcox. So this is an awesome location because, I'm sorry?
I just asked who's going to Saguaro Man, and about 100% of the people in the room.
Nice. Well, good. I'm excited to see you guys there. So long story short, it's a great piece of land. We're really excited to be on it. Placement is officially like in go mode right now. The team is actively placing camps and working to design our event spaces. And I got to sit in on a placement meeting like last week or the week before. They are so amazing with how they work together and almost just, they know every camp and how each camp will mesh with the camps around it. And a lot of thought and consideration and love is being put into our placement for this event. DPW is ramping up. We've got a lot of volunteers that have signed up for the setup and teardown shifts, which is amazing. And those were the ones that we were most concerned about having people for, because they literally are required to build and take down our event. Noreen has been in touch with the city of Willcox. They're actively cutting the roads for us for quiet camping right now. So we're getting updates on that as they go. Let's see, what else did I have on my list?
One sec. So
sure.
That's really a big deal that the city of Willcox is cutting the roads for us. That's the only reason that we're paying rent. It's the rent that we're paying is being called rent, but it's really to cover their cost for doing the roads for us. Otherwise, we would have had to do it. We would have had to rent the equipment. We would have had to find the people to do it. So they're doing it, and next year we expect to have a much lower rental fee from them because it's just a win-win all around for us.
Right. Excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, those roads are being cut. We are getting our safety procedures and everything ready for the events. We've been having co-creators meetings that are going really well. Everyone's working together. So one thing I will say, like I always say, is we need more volunteers. So I took a look at the Sign Up Genius. There's a lot of holes in there that we need to fill up. So if you guys are going to the event and you haven't signed up for a volunteer shift yet, or you're just looking for more volunteer time, please go check out the Sign Up Genius and take a look at that and put your name on there somewhere. If you have any questions or trouble signing up, you can contact volunteers at AZBurners.org. The other thing that I'll say, and this is just because it came up today. So we're on new land. This is the city's land, and it is also kind of a sanctuary in a way for the animals that live there. There's a nice pond. There's a lot of bird watching that happens there. So it's not like it was on our land. It's more like we have to be very careful. We're reviewing the policies for things like gray water and fire. So the one thing that I would ask before the event is just brush up on the policies for things like that. If you plan to have a shower, double check and make sure that that's allowed. I can't tell you yes yet. We haven't gone through that discussion yet. But closer to the event, we'll have those policies updated. So make sure you're up to date on those. I'm trying to think of anything else. Everything's going great, guys. Yeah, I'm super excited for the land. I don't know about you guys, but it's beautiful. Noreen has been sending pictures when she's been out there, and yeah, it's going to be great.
And it's gonna be shaped like Black Rock City.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Misha. Anybody have any questions about Saguaro Man?
I do.
Okay.
With the moment that we're actually on a real playa, is there a way for us to basically reach to the community, let them know if you're already aware of
Wait,
Black Rock?
come here and ask that.
Sure. So I'm curious if, with us moving to an actual playa and it being an alkali lake bed, for us to be, it's not, okay, but for us to be proper stewards to the land regardless, following what most of us that have been to a big burn would understand as your gray water protocol, your garbage protocol, all the things that we do to go to a big playa, is there a way that we can let some of our community understand that this is probably the protocol we need to be prepared for just going into it? And that way we can also help teach the people that may not have that underneath their belt yet. I'll reach that. But yeah, that's my question.
Cool. And Misha, I think that's kind of what you were referring to is like you're looking through all that and policies are being updated as well.
Yeah, so we've had some loose policies on our land because it was our own and we could control what we wanted to do with it and what we thought was acceptable and what wasn't. That's not the case now. So we are updating policies for, like I said, things like gray water and water use, and we'll have policies surrounding like what happens if weather happens on the playa. Do you drive? Do you stay? Stuff like that. So all of that is in review right now. And what I would say is most likely we're going to put out some sort of announcement pre-event once those policies have been updated, just saying, hey guys, check this out. There's been some changes. But as far as anything beyond that, I would say it is radical self-reliance to look at those policies beforehand and be educated on the event that we're going to.
Also, Misha, so we have gate and greeters, right? Gate checks your tickets and inspects your vehicle. Greeters welcomes you to the event and introduces, particularly to newbies, the concept of LNT and all the other principles that we follow. So yes, we will definitely be highlighting all the rule changes at this event and pushing it out through Burn After Reading, which is our monthly newsletter, through the website, all that good stuff. The website will be the source of truth. We're just finalizing our water and groundwater and gray water and shower water policies right now.
Right. And yeah,
Thank you.
that's a great point. Burn after reading and all of those other ways. So yeah, we'll definitely be addressing that, especially once we have the policies actually completed.
It sounds like, unlike past years, we are full on leave no trace.
Yep.
Right. And that is actually rather exciting to me.
In fact, we're going to do better than that, and we're going to try and pick up the land while we're there. So
yeah, that playa itself has become a dumping ground. People go and dump their trash out there, and the city has to go clean up stuff from time to time. We're going to help with that. Also, Tacky has a question.
yes.
Hi, thank you. Just throwing it in there too, since it is new for all of us, just some information to let us know, like, I don't know, what length lag boats might work well in that land, or how can we best secure our structures? It's brand new terrain for all of us. So if there's any insights for that ahead of time, it'd be much appreciated.
Awesome.
That's great feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. You want to ask it over here?
Yes, I have a question on.
And I love it, and they have three great old stickers on.
Dog camp, leash laws and how the animals are gonna do it. How that's the goal. Like, is there leash laws?
Yes.
Like that?
So for sure, your dog has to be on a leash. If you have a cat, your cat has to be on a leash, or it has to be. You need to. If you have free, let it. That's basically the first thing that sells out. Make sure that they get along with other animals. Leashes or anything else to add to that?
You broke up quite a bit, but
The question
No,
is about dog and cat rules. And it might be just direct to the FAQ because there's not much changing about those, right?
yeah, no, leash laws, like your dog has to be on a leash at all times at the event, regardless of location. I think it's an insurance thing too.
Yeah. The other thing is there's so much information in the FAQ on the website. It's like, if you don't see it somewhere, it's going to be in the other. Yes, Mom.
So I was just gonna mention, since you brought up the animal policy, so there's two aspects that people may not be aware of.
You want to come here?
Sure. Sorry, I'm connected to the group.
We should have taken you up on the offer.
The first thing is, we are one of only 2 regionals that is actually has animals allowed. So it is super special. And in that, us working to make sure we can continue to have that is huge. So like finding those moments that we can keep and like work to grow that is fantastic. The other thing that I was going to bring up was Dogville. If everybody that's been is familiar with Dogville, they normally are the big facilitators for all the pet parades and all the different things. They lost their pet this year. So Dogville, who is the mayor, is not.
But the
So
camp
we-
is coming, aren't they?
So there's still other people.
Yeah.
They have other people from the
Yeah,
camp.
yeah.
Like, it's a moment of evolution for the camp, and so if other people are coming in with pets, there is a place for someone to be able to move up into some leadership type positions and help with that facilitating for the pet side of it. And also just being part of the connection for the pet people and helping them facilitate their joy, their burden along with their animals that are there. So,
Thank you, Mom.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, is that Monk? Hi, Monk.
Any, Lars?
Yeah. That's why just for their safety and everyone's, we want to make sure because we now have a lake bird sanctuary right next to the vet that the animals don't get away from their owners too far and end up in the tempting large body of water that has many birds there on top. We want to keep that area safe, dogs safe from the lake.
Thank you. Did you guys hear that, Zoomies?
Yeah, totally, Lars. You're spot on.
So we're gonna be like literally right next door to a bird sanctuary. Yeah. So keep the dogs on the leashes. Because there's gonna be great distractions. I guess while you mentioned it, there is a small lake there and nobody from our event is allowed in the lake. So.
If you end up in the lake, you will end up out of the event. No lake swimming. Also, it's completely full of bird and duck poo. So we'll probably like hose you off and send you on your way.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I was out there yesterday, doing Move Sweep with, Chainsaw, and we're out there yesterday for between 9 and 2, and it was 150 pounds of trash. Just 2 of us.
Amazing job, guys. I saw the pictures, Mama Squishy. You guys did amazing.
More pictures and video. You can't walk a foot without finding this trash. So it is really important to go out beforehand and clean it up because it's still a public space and people are still going out there using it as a shooting range to do their donuts, having fun, like what do we want to do? But they need it behind because they don't know. So unless you want to pick it up before you pitch tent, it's important to go for it. Are you having a cleanup? There will be more cleanups. Yes, there will be more. There needs to be more cleanups.
Would you mind picking like your favorite photo from yesterday and sending it to me and I'll include it in the burn after reading? Actually, thank you. Awesome. All right, now let's move from Saguaro Man and we'll start thinking about October because we need volunteers for October. Renee, you're still with us. I know that you were somewhere not around. Are you
Hi.
here?
I'm here.
Awesome.
Hello,
Maybe
everyone.
can you put on your video so we could see you too?
Yeah,
Even though it's really tiny on my screen, but
that's okay. I'm
there you go.
wondering, is it um, helpful or possible to share some slides from my side, or does that throw off the flow?
Whatever you'd like to do. I can stop my share and you can start your own. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. That way you have
I
more
stopped
interesting
sharing.
images to look at than my old face over here. Um, one moment.
Here they
It's a lovely face.
are.
Oh, thanks. Back at you. Okay, here is this.
All right, we
And
can see it.
yay! So pictures are worth 1,000 words, right? Here are some images from the last 2 ignites that we had. We got a bonus one last year, so well, I'll back up. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Um, Normally I would do like a show of hands for who all has been there, but I can't see everyone's hands, so I'll just give a little recap. Ignite is our annual acculturation event. It's kind of like an open house for anything AZBurners. It's a chance to have burner curious folks, burner adjacent folks, new AZBurners, old school AZBurners, everybody hanging out in one place and demonstrating all of our favorite parts of our community. And it's also for, I think, a lot of people, it's been a really great kind of front door or introduction into a group of people that they knew they needed and they didn't know we existed. Um, so it's a really, really important event on a lot of different levels. And we need more folks to be a part of helping bring that back every year. So I want you to keep that in mind as I go through a little bit of a recap from last year and think about where you might want to jump in and help out for this year. We held one in Tempe at the end of March, and we had, what did we have? 600 or so attendees, I think, over the space of
There were
6
over seven.
hours. One more time?
It was more than 700.
More than 700. Even better, right? So it's clearly something wanted and needed and supported. Went really well. Everyone involved, from the city level to the um, venue owners that were kind enough to share their space with us, to the people that participated, had nothing but really warm and wonderful feedback about our entire community, which is a really great feeling. And um, many, many thanks to everyone who helped make that happen. Um, the success from that gave us the idea of doing a similar thing in Willcox, where we've had a lot of uncertainty with the local community about who AZBurners are and what AZBurners do and why we're driving from way over in Tucson and Phoenix to little old Willcox and bring all of our weird art and stuff there. So we had a very small version of Ignite there, and again, had nothing but really wonderful feedback. And it also created a safe space for locals to come and just see for themselves, ask questions, try stuff on. One of my favorite moments from the Willcox event was a gentleman dressed in every stereotypical cowboy appearance that you could think of, and he came to me after he had gone through and tried everything that was at the event, and he says, I tried this and it wasn't my thing, and I tried the meditative sound experience and that wasn't really my thing. I tried we had a dress up corner. But the glow panels, that was really, really great. I've never seen anything like that, and I really, really enjoyed that. So thank you for bringing that. And so it was really great to hear of somebody that came genuinely with an open mind, didn't have any familiarity with anything that was going to be inside the building, and tried stuff out, found something he didn't expect he was going to like, and was friendly and kind enough to talk about it. So these are the kinds of experience, some of the kinds of experiences we're looking to cultivate with this event. The other thing this event does is it gives an opportunity to have an equal, I don't know, an equal playing field for all different kinds of art, performance, sound, uh, unique ways of volunteering, just anywhere that you want to be involved or you want to try out because you haven't been involved at that level before. This is a really wonderful place to try it. That's my little pitch about that. And I've included a couple of thought-provoking slides here to kind of further that idea. Because again, this event is about showing off, right? All of our favorite aspects of our community and celebrating who we are and what we like about ourselves as a group, and doing that in a way that invites whoever has any kind of interest to come in and be a part of that with us. Um, so again, if you at any point think of any way that you might want to be involved in that, you can email, and I'll hold a page up at the end that has contact information on it, but you can email IGNiGHT@AZBurners.org and just say, hey, I want to be involved. You can have a specific way or not. I can help you figure out what it is. Just send us an email and let us know you're interested. So that's that. That's the soapbox. Part 2, we have a brand new year. So we plan on holding a traditional version of IGNiGHT somewhere in the Phoenix metro area. We are currently searching for venues. If you know of any, again, feel free to email IGNiGHT@AZBurners.org and connect the information. We'll definitely be happy to survey the area, meet with folks, take that information from you. That's all, until we have a venue locked down. That's kind of all the information I have at that point, as we are looking for a venue. And I have a list of venue criteria I can provide as well for anyone that might be curious. I won't bore the meeting with all those details, but I can happily provide it in email. Additionally, here, and I'll flip to another slide so you have more fun stuff to think about. Additionally, the event in Willcox went so well last year that I've had several people approach and ask if we are planning to do that again this year. Even though the event is a one-day event, it takes place usually from somewhere in the afternoon until somewhere at night. It's a lot to take on. So I would love to have a Willcox event, a Willcox version of IGNiGHT again in 2026. And the key to unlock that is having another production person who would like to be the champion of that and who would like to work with me on bringing these ideas to producing that event again in Willcox. So if you are that person or you know someone who might be that person, again, please email IGNiGHT@AZBurners.org, and I would be so happy to speak with you or them or whomever it is that reaches out. Here's another fun, thought-provoking slide for you to take into account. All right, so that's Tempe, that's last year, that's Tempe this year, that's Willcox this year. Now we're on to decompression. Historically,
There's somebody in Tucson that would love to do IGNiGHT here.
awesome. Yeah, definitely. Send us an email and I will have all the conversations with you about it and help make that happen. That would be great.
I mean, we kind of have a template. And there's not a reason not to have it in the major areas where we have sizable burner community. What we don't have here is demonstrated, hey, you know, Renee was like, she lives in Phoenix, knows the area, volunteers there. I mean, if this appeals to you, and you want to do IGNiGHT here, it's doable. Just got to get a core group of volunteers to make it happen.
Absolutely. That's so exciting. I'm so happy that we already have someone reaching out. That's great. Um,
Decompression.
Decompression, thank you. So decompression is kind of on a whole different tangent. Historically, that has taken place in October. Historically, that has been put on by volunteers that overlap heavily with folks that are already volunteering to produce other events, which is a lot to have on one's plate for volunteer work. So what we would love to see happen with decompression, the camping aspect, oh, sorry, to define decompression for folks who might be new or might not be aware. It's the annual AZBurner camping event. So it's the more mellow, less involved than Saguaro Man way to hang out outdoors with hopefully fire, usually fire, and swap Burning Man stories or non-Burning Man stories, or just kind of hang out and relax together as a group of people that have similar things in common. We would love to see that continue, and we would love to see that be embraced by the community. So if there's anyone who loves organizing things, particularly who loves organizing camping trips, the board is able to provide support in helping you organize permits, understand insurance requirements, go through the bureaucratic stuff, the stuff that might seem really scary or overwhelming about organizing this kind of thing. So yeah, if you are a person who loves organizing that kind of thing and you want to help make sure that an annual camping event of some sort happens for AZBurners for 2026, hopefully not on the same weekend as IGNiGHT, reach out and let's make that happen. The other side of decompression, why I'm speaking about this in conjunction with IGNiGHT, is not only the overlap, we're moving IGNiGHT to October, but also the sense of all of us coming together and hanging out together and celebrating, you know, what we love to do as a group, has also been a part of decompression, and we can take all of that enthusiasm from decompression and channel that into IGNiGHT and share all of that enthusiasm and all of that hard work and all of that art with new people as well. So we're kind of hoping to combine the ideas of decompression with the reality of IGNiGHT, and also have a separate event for the more behind the scenes relaxing together and camping together aspect. That's kind of the switches that are happening, and there are a lot of reasons for doing it that way. Yeah, I guess that's all I have in my notes. I did want to piggyback off of something that Lisa was saying earlier, which is that we're in a very exciting time for AZBurners right now. I will stop sharing. If you've been in the community or adjacent to the community for a few years, you've seen some changes in how things are structured, and some new faces come and go, and that has brought us to a really cool point where we have some fantastic structures, we have some excellent momentum, and we also have a lot of opportunities for people who want to help shape things, for people who are really passionate about how things happen. Now's the time. You can be one of those people, and there are many different scales at which you can be one of those people. If you have a large amount of bandwidth and you love nerdy administrative stuff, there's a place for that. If you have only a small amount of bandwidth, but it's on a regular basis, we have a place for that. It's a really, really cool time to be to practice the communal effort principle and be engaged in the moving and shaking part of being AZBurners. So I encourage any and everybody to, again, just shoot an email, tap someone you know that's in the leadership capacity, like get in touch somehow, and help out, help make cool stuff happen. 'Cause that's why we're all here. And here's my little ending paper slide.
Oh, it's blurring out.
Oh
Yeah, it's
no!
blurry.
Oh, because I have blur background turned on. Here, I'll fix that. Or maybe everyone just needs glasses. No, I'm kidding. Here we go. Here's my little paper slide. This is how much I need help. I ended up having to write this on Sharpie with a paper. Normally I would have beautiful graphics made on the computer. So I need help so badly that I don't have time to make graphics on the computer. But please, come over. Oh, my other note, and then I'll stop blabbering at you guys. If you haven't done that kind of help, that kind of volunteer work before, the production, admin, logistics, that level of thing, but you're curious about it and you want to learn stuff and you think you might want to try it on, the IGNiGHT production team is a great opportunity to try that in kind of a mentor capacity. It's lower commitment than some of the big events such as Saguaro Man, which has a lot of moving parts. So it might be a good place to kind of dip your toes in and give something a try. So on that note, I hope to see. Oh, sorry, I keep thinking I have one more thing. We've started a series of think tank events for IGNiGHT, which are available either in person or via Zoom. There is a volunteer sign-up sheet on the azburners.org website. If you sign up on that volunteer sign-up sheet, you will get a link to the Zoom meeting. The next one will take place a week from today, slightly less than a week from today, next Saturday, March 6th, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. And if you want to just listen in, or you want to bring cool ideas, or if there's something that you've wished had happened at previous IGNiGHTs and you want to bring something, bring that information forward, this is the opportunity for that, or these meetings. So that's my commercial about that. And thanks for your time, everybody. We'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people wanted to see the note again. Put it down kind of quick.
IGNiGHT, IGNiGHT.
You hold up your sign.
That's
My
what it
super
said.
official slide.
Be a piece of our pie.
Yeah, a couple people wanted to see it.
You want me to?
Yeah, like,
Hold on, Renee, hold on a minute, let me.
Oh, very still.
There we go.
I think I might print this into a t-shirt just for fun.
Oh, that would be so cute. I would buy one.
Thank you so much, Renee. Any questions about IGNiGHT?
Oh yeah, I love
All
that.
right. Thank you very much.
Bye guys.
Can I say a quick thank you?
Yes.
I just want to throw Renee out there and say that I've been so busy with Saguaro Man stuff, and Renee has kind of taken the torch and run with it on IGNiGHT/decomp stuff. And I just want to throw it out there, like, please, like, Renee is an amazing, amazing leader. And I think that they would also be an amazing mentor. So if anybody's interested in those volunteer opportunities, like you're working with a good person.
I'll second that emotion.
Blushing over here. Thanks, guys.
All right, we are gonna move on. So I'm doing a time check right now. We have a few more subjects. But we're gonna, maybe you guys will be able to stay for like an extra 15 minutes so we can at least have a short conversation.
Lisa, can you share your screen again? Because
Yes, I'm about to.
thank you.
I just wanted to say that before I did.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm gonna try this again and we'll see how I do. There's that. And I'm gonna go and do what I did before, and probably need to share it again. So, share PowerPoint presentation. And you should see the presentation, right?
We see
Yep.
your notes.
We see your notes.
Okay.
So
That swap display
notes?
button.
yeah, we see the one with your notes. So if you do the swap displays in the upper
Okay.
left, that should get
Hold
us.
on. That's all right. I'll do it this way. Okay, you should see the right thing now, yes?
Got it.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So now where's that in? Come on down. This clicker. This clicker will take you forward and back. Which one? That one, the bottom one? That's great. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're gonna get serious. Hi, my name is Avid. I started working with Arizona Burners Without Borders about 3 months ago. We are an organization that is trying to help facilitate people to work on projects that they care about and causes that they care about. So, and we're looking to fill our board. I am not technically an official board member yet. I've just kind of been onboarding and learning about everything that's involved before I nominate myself for some kind of role. We're currently accepting nominations for the 2026 board, and we have 4 total board seats. That doesn't mean that if you don't want to be on the board, you can't work with us. We would love anybody that has a project idea or something that they're already working on that maybe we can help facilitate or provide some kind of support to please reach out to us. And obviously we prefer people that are in the community and in good standing. Corinne is our acting president and Desiree is self-nominated for VP. And like I said, I have been kind of training for a role and working as like a communications director. Our board vacancies, Jesse's going to be leaving soon, and we need a treasurer and a secretary. I'm not sure if you guys can see. Well, nobody here can see because it's blocked by the Zoom things, the QR code. But do we post the video online afterwards?
Yeah.
We do, right? Okay,
heard
so
her.
if somebody wants to watch it back in there, they can. That's okay. All right.
You'll help me find it. Stuff out there. Let's click that one.
No, the button's not there anyway.
That was on the wrong.
I have to select it.
There you go.
Okay. We have a bunch of blood drives. I guess I'm supposed to like be going over what we've done since the last meeting. We collected 35 units of blood in 2025 and have a partnership with Walter Hive for 2026. 4 blood drives planned for this year. I don't know if anybody knows this, but there's a critical blood shortage. So if you get in an accident and need a lot of blood, you might be in a really tough spot because like nationally, there's a blood shortage and we really need people to be donating blood. If you're unable to donate, try to encourage friends. And our upcoming blood drives are March 9th, August 16th, October 12th, and December 29th. And we have Facebook event pages for all of those.
And that's all in Phoenix. And if there's anybody in Tucson interested in starting something like that here, the BWB Arizona board would be happy to help you put it together.
We would love to facilitate that. I can give you a couple details about what kind of venue that we need. It needs to be a venue that is indoors, air conditioning. So if you know of a venue that might be willing to commit to several blood drives throughout the year, please reach out and let us know. That would be awesome. We're doing something called a thrift shop bop on March 15th. This is also in Phoenix. So if you have stuff that you've been needing to get rid of and you like don't want to take it to Goodwill or somewhere that you know it goes into the corporation, like somebody makes money off of that and it's not our community. So in order to try to keep money in our community, we're trying to encourage us to donate to our own programs. And then so for the thrift shop swap, everybody brings whatever they have and what they don't really need, and you can kind of swap and barter with each other. And then anything that we don't trade within our community can be donated to Civitan, and they have a low-cost thrift shop there. It's a good place for people that are like starting in life and they need new clothes. Prices are very reasonable, so we think that's a better place to be bringing stuff to be donated. That's March 15th.
Which group is organizing this?
Arizona Burners Without Borders.
Okay.
And another thing we did in 2026 so far is the Idiot-a-Rod. Has anybody in here participated in the Idiot-a-Rod?
We're in Tucson, but if you were in Phoenix, you would see a bunch of it.
I went to Phoenix. I participated. It was crazy. It was idiotic, but it was fun. We raised over $5,135 for Circle of the City, which is a very cool nonprofit that provides medical support to unhoused people in Phoenix. So if somebody is dealing with cancer or really any kind of medical issue, they provide medical support. And they have a respite center, and they drive a van around to provide medical support to people that don't want to come to the center, which is huge, obviously, for people living on the street. And yeah, helped raise money, had a lot of fun in the process. And if you like day drinking and dressing up and making silly, it's kind of like instead of making an art car, you're making an art cart, because they take shopping carts and you decorate them with your theme, and then you drive them through downtown Phoenix for a day and just make a spectacle in order to try to raise money. It was a really fun project, and if you have time, maybe think about doing it next year. Phoenix Litter Burners. It used to be called Canal Cleanup, and we're kind of like streamlining branding to be Phoenix Litter Burners so that it's clear when there's something happening in Phoenix versus happening in Tucson. They adopted a section of the bike loop along the canal path in Phoenix a while ago. I don't know exactly when they did that, but they're continuing to do those cleanups, and their next cleanup is March 14th. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wear green, and yeah, you don't need to bring anything. Trash bags, grabbers, and gloves are provided. If there's anything that you would like prefer to use, like your own gloves, you can bring those. And it's just a nice way to make a difference in the world without having to do anything. You know, you don't have to fix the world, but you can clean up a little section. But and here in Tucson, I have Tucson Litter Burners. Woohoo! So we've had 4 cleanups so far. We adopted a wash over by the Rito called the Algernon Wash. We meet up kind of next to this business called DeBella. I don't really know what they do, but the address is up there, and DeBella, if you need it to like help you find it on the map. We again provide grabbers, trash bags, gloves, and the event runtime is 2 hours. But like the first half hour is just kind of people arriving and checking in with each other and chatting. And then we go down into the wash and we clean for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then we take the trash up and out and put it by the side of the road. And I contact the city and then come pick it up. And every month I'm doing a different theme. Even though March has St. Patrick's Day, I decided not to be normal. And the theme for March is corn, because it's a beautiful thing and it's got the juice. So if you want to come, maybe bring corn snacks, wear yellow. I have this fantasy in my head of getting up on the bridge and having everyone in like a yellowish color underneath and making you all arrange yourself into a corn cob shape. So I have a vision, and if you would like to be part of it, our cleanup is March 15th. That's a Sunday. It'll always be on a Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon. I might scoot the time earlier in the summer when it's really hot. That remains to be seen. Over the holidays, we partnered with Save the Family and delivered a bunch of holiday gifts to our adopted family. Bikes and safety gear, robes and slippers, books and games, tons of toys, bedding, and hopefully we made families holidays better. Financials, funding. Funding comes from a portion of the AZBurner ticket sales, private donors. I don't know how much of that actually happens.
There are at least 2 people who
Have actually
put
gone.
for Arizona Burners Without Borders in their wills.
Aw.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. So far we have 3 grants that are like in the process of being awarded this year. The dreaded barber, he's just committed to coming to the next 2 canal cleanups in Phoenix. So I'm very excited about that. But what he does is he drives his mobile barber van around and provides haircuts and really just takes care of unhoused neighbors who haven't really interacted with people in a while and aren't able to take care of themselves since they don't have bathroom accesses regularly. And to be able to like get cleaned up and be talked to and treated like a human being can be a huge deal if people are not paying attention to and just dismissing you on the street. So we're really excited about helping out the dreaded barber. For the first time, we had nominations for our grants, and we are reaching out to these organizations to see if they would like to receive the grants. The only requirements would be to provide impact media, so visuals, 3 photos, and then a write-up of how the grant money would support their project. The 2 organizations are Salvavision. Salvavision helps people who have been deported or were kept in a deportation center. And then when they're let go right there on the border, they don't have, they get their cell phones taken away. Sometimes the only thing they have is the clothes on their backs. They lose all their like personal information and papers, and they aren't able to like call their family because they don't have like their numbers on them anymore. And so they contact these people as they're being released from the deportation center and help them find a shelter to stay at, or help them find money, or help get them set up with a really cheap, low-cost phones that they can use, and just help them get back on their feet. They also help people that are afraid of being captured by ICE and are afraid to leave their home, and they'll escort them to their immigration hearings and bring them groceries if they're afraid to leave the house. So that's like a huge, beautiful thing that they're doing, and we are very excited and hope that they are on board with providing impact media just so that we can like tell the world about what they do. The other one is Sonoran Desert Dog Rescue, which is a small little rescue project led by a woman named Barb. And she lives close to the border and drives around and finds abandoned stray dogs. And sometimes she gets tips about like a dog that somebody found that has a litter, and they'll go pick it up and take care of it, and then do work to try to find rehoming homes for the animals. So those are our 3 grants that we're working on so far this year. And I want to make a really big deal about the fact that we have grants, because I don't think people know about this. We have grants. The maximum amount that you can get in a year is $500. But if that would help you with some kind of project, whether it be like a food drive or environmental cleanup like I do, I can think of so many things that I know that my burner friends are doing and working on. For instance, Adam and your post-it. I can think of like supporting giving like harm reduction materials in the packing things that you do. I think that's a really great example of the kind of project that we would love to support. So if there's something that you're already doing that helps create a more resilient community and helps support a cause that you care about, please apply. And we can talk to you and see if there's anything we can do to help you make your project work better, or just, you know, provide funding that will help you continue the work that you're already doing. Looking ahead, we're trying to strengthen our partnership with other organizations and make a positive difference. And yeah, see you at the upcoming events. Anybody have any questions? This is my emotional support chicken. I brought this to help you today.
What was your name again?
Avid, like an avid reader.
Any questions about Burners Without Borders? Which is an organization overall, so the Global Burners Without Borders organization celebrated its 20th this year. And they continue to do this kind of work around the world. Started with hurricane.
Yes. I'll go with Katrina.
Katrina.
It started with Hurricane Katrina, and it was like after the big burn, a bunch of people left the big burn, and was like, well, let's go help with that chaos. And they just like stationed out there and yeah.
It was also at the burn because the hurricane had happened. So as we were leaving, they asked everyone if they had leftover food or wood or anything to donate it as you were leaving, and that sort of be inaugurated.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I heard a bunch of people also went there and did work with like rebuilding and cleaning up after that. And that was just an example of burners getting together and making a difference in the world outside of our awesome little parties. And that's all we want to do is just encourage more of that and to like bring attention to and highlight the work that people are already doing.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you. All right, I'm going to take just a couple minutes to talk about Burning Man project. The org, folks might call them the org. And as a regional contact, I've learned that the real name is Burning Man Project. That's the name of the corporation. Any of you going to Black Rock City this year? Yay, don't know yet? Hope you make it. This is the theme, Axis Mundi. This is one of the more striking pictures that I've seen them put to a theme over the years since we've been going since 2011. This year, August 30th through September 7th, a little bit later than typical. Just so, in case you didn't know, Burning Man is always the week leading up to Labor Day. So whenever Labor Day is, you know that's the end of Burning Man, which means the man burns in 188 days, and I hope to see you all there. This slide just gives you some basic info on tickets. And the burningman.org/Black Rock City ticket info. You can get all the information there. You can also contact me. I'm happy to give any information you possibly need or send you to the right website or person. We will, as we always do in this region, have a couple of newbie events. So if you've never been to Black Rock City before and you're planning to go, how to help prepare, what to expect when you're there, what not to expect when you're there, going, coming home, spend an hour or two and have some fun. And in Phoenix, we'll be on June 14th. We need a host for Tucson. So we typically do them in June. If you are interested in hosting, they're usually at someone's house. There's usually, you know, maybe a half a dozen people. In Phoenix, we tend to turn it also into a party. So we're, you know, part of the community, come on after and we'll have some fun. But, you know, the main purpose is helping the folks that have never been get prepared. The last official thing the last official subject is I wanted to share with you where we're at with the regional contact search. Back in November, we announced it. So regional contact is actually the conduit between Burning Man Project and the region. Right now, there's two of us, Armella Quinvani and me. We've been at this 6 years, and I'm winding back. And so we've also been begging Bjorn for several years that we need more. There we need more of us, especially if we really need a couple residing down in this part of the state, a couple residing in the Phoenix area, and 1 or 2 residing in northern Arizona. They're amenable to that. But we don't compromise on the who just to plug into a location. And so we're on the path to making what we want to see happen. 7 folks who I hope all of you are aware of, 7 people raised their hand in that November timeframe and said, yeah, I'm really interested in this. Following that self-nomination, Burning Man Project did a call out to the community, and we all had an opportunity to share our comments about any of the applicants that we know to help guide the decision making. So that completed, and then there's a small interview team, which I'm not part of, by the way. One of the things is when there's new RCs being searched in the region, the existing RCs don't really get a say. The org said, when I talked with them, they said that's because we found that when people are just kind of looking for themselves and just looking at their friends, they're missing something, right? We all have our blind spots, and it's time to do some growth. So there is a small interview team, which consists of Scotto, who's a former RC, and he also sits on what they call the Meta Council, which is people who used to be RCs that work on conflict resolution and helping folks in networking things. So I thought he would make a great person on that team because he's so plugged into conflicts that happen with RCs in other regions that he can help with that process of interviewing and help folks understand better what they're getting into. The second is Julie, who they know as Bernapedia. You may also know her as Crown Jewels. She's been integral in so many things in the region. And she had taken a hiatus from super active involvement in the past year. And when we tapped our shoulder and said, would you like to be part of this interview team? And she agreed, which we're really happy about. And the third is Danger Kitten, DK, who is here in Tucson and also on the board of BED. So highly immersed in our principles. And so they have just this past week completed the interviews. So they finished the 7th of the 7th, and now their task is to write a recommendation report for Burning Man Project. To let Burning Man Project know who would they recommend to Burning Man Project. Burning Man Project will take those recommendations, likely just take them. They may have some questions in case they have any knowledge or whatever. So we're expecting the interview team to submit their recommendation report within the next several days. And we're expecting Burning Man Project to make their decision within a week or so after that. Once that happens, Burning Man Project takes on direct communication with the volunteers, let them know who make the invitations to those that they select, and then assuming that those people say, sure, yes, I'm still interested, they'll start an onboarding process, and that onboarding process takes about a month. We won't know who our new RCs are until after that onboarding process, because everybody wants to make sure that it's really going to be a win-win. And so going through that month of really immersing and learning the ropes and doing that kind of thing. So we're expecting to hear back early April on who our new additional RCs are going to be. And we've set up a time during Saguaro Man for the first meet and greet with the new RCs. Will be during meet and greet with the board, meet and greet with RCs, and a conversation about so that's going to happen on Thursday at Saguaro Man at 7. And we've got a 2-hour carved out. So that's where we're at. I'm really excited about whoever comes on board. All 7 are pretty good candidates from what I've seen. I know I've worked closely with 7 of them, so it'll be cool when it happens. All right. Any questions on any of that Burning Man RCs? Anything that we haven't covered? Cool. what I'd like to do now, and it's 10 to 4, so maybe we'll take 20 minutes, so we only end this 10 minutes late. How's that? Okay. We bought the land in 2020, just in time for COVID to say, up here there's Arizona. The land is held by another, it was put under a nonprofit. Originally it was under an LLC, and the LLC had the intention to follow through with creating nonprofit because it's the community's money, it's not the individuals of the LLC. So that nonprofit is named Arizona Artistic, the 501c3 also. They have a person board. The land was zoned for residential homestead. Down there, that means each of those plots were 40 acres. So we bought this 80-acre plot of land. Most of the folks in that buying process were like, "Whoa, we could see forever. This is really cool." However, there really are neighbors, and the neighbors haven't enjoyed us being there. I don't need to go through the whole story, but it doesn't make sense for us to continue to try to do events there. It just doesn't. So Saguaro Man has to move, which means we need to think about what to do with this piece of land that's owned by our community, right? That's really what we need to think about. And so what we're doing is we had a conversation in November at the town hall. We're doing this here today. We're going to do another one at Saguaro Man at Center Camp, and we'll probably do another one at the November town hall. And then early 2027, we will really put our heads together to figure out what it is. We'll make the decisions, but we as the two boards said no tiny group of individuals should make this decision. In fact, we really need to have the community say. So what we'd like to do now, I'm gonna turn off the presentation, guys. What we really like to do now, because you guys have just been sitting for way too long, is we want to just like, the people that you're sitting next to. And I'm going to give you some stickies, and we're going to put up some paper. Just brainstorm. What would you like to see done with the land? And we have lots of really cool ideas come out last time. If you looked at the burn after reading that came out right after the last town hall, or looked on the website where we posted pictures of the flip charts that they made, lots of really cool ideas, like anything from, keep it, turn it into makerspace, turn it into storage, rent it out to camps to store their stuff, turn it into a dog rescue, just all kinds of ideas. And so I want to encourage you just to brainstorm with each other. So I want to give you like 15 minutes to just chat, and then I'll pass around some stickies if anybody doesn't have them, and you'll write them down, and we'll keep those ideas.
I was just curious before we start, do you have a number for the land, the cost per year that we need to offset, make it a probability?
Yeah, so for you on Zoom, Monk's question was, do we have a number on how much does the land cost us per year? The land
Lisa,
itself, yes.
do you, a couple of things, do you want me to stop the recording?
Pause the recording.
Okay.
And we'll put it back on when we're sharing the ideas.
Sounds